A hearing is set for next month to determine whether or not a federal receiver will take over the troubled complex.
Also in question, the current leadership of the New York City Corrections Department. Mayor Eric Adams has been a staunch supporter of DOC Commissioner Louis Molina, but there are rumors that Commissioner Molina is preparing to make his exit within the coming weeks. So let's set the record straight. Commissioner Molina joining us in studio to discuss the future of Rikers and himself. Good to have you here.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So before we get into this whole topic of the federal receivership, right, and the closure of Rikers Island, which is still slated to happen, I do want to set the record straight. These rumors have been swirling in reports that you submitted your resignation letter and that you've already hired a senior deputy commissioner to prepare for a transition. Any truth to the fact that you are looking to move on?
Not true. I enjoy the work. I'm honored to be part of Mayor Adams' administration. I'm dedicated and focused on the work. New York City is my hometown, and I relocated back to New York City to do this job because the people that work for the New York City Department of Corrections and those that are placed in our custody deserved significant improvement, and we've been doing that over the last 22 months.
Are you feeling any sort of outside pressure to resign?
None at all. I communicate with the mayor on a regular basis, as well as Deputy Mayor Banks and the rest of the senior leadership team. They've been very supportive of me. They've been historically very supportive of the department over the last 22 months. It's been unprecedented support, and that has helped us stabilize the department significantly.
So you plan to stay on as long as the mayor is willing to have you?
Well, all commissioners serve at the pleasure of their mayors and governors, so as long as the mayor's happy to have me, I'm happy to be here.
So let's talk more then. Now that we've set that straight, let's move on to the topics, right? The city settled a lawsuit with the Board of Corrections over unrestricted access to video footage from inside Rikers Island. Now, sometimes video gets out, right? It leaks, so on and so forth. But does the board have complete access to the footage? And are you willing to have some of that footage released to the public?
Sure. So the board has always had complete access to video footage.
Okay.
What we differed on was their ability to be able to do that remotely.
Okay.
I think oversight is a very important role, and when you're in an oversight role, then you should physically be going to the facilities where that oversight should occur to include access to all of our video, whether it's body-worn camera, stationary camera video, to be able to review it.
Okay, so now it's more readily available.
Now it's remotely available to them. And I hope that doesn't lessen their frequency of physically coming to Rikers Island to see the improvements that we've made.
Okay. Let's talk about the federal receivership.
Sure.
A receiver may be appointed within the coming months, correct? So if that does happen, what does that actually look like? And what does that mean for you and your role?
Yeah, so my understanding is the process of if a receiver were to be appointed, it's not going to happen in a couple of months. There would be a long sort of judicial process for the judge to make that decision if she believes that it is warranted. We certainly don't believe that it's warranted. Actually, they've delayed our court date from next month to now December. So we'll be back in court in the early part of December, and we continue to stay focused on the work. We have significant stabilization. If you look at our MMR, our fights and assaults in fiscal year 23 were down 8%. Slashings and stabbings were down 21%. We continue to see double-digit decreases in violence, and we continue to trend in the positive direction of decreasing in use of force incidences as well.
Yeah, so while we're talking about numbers then, I do want to talk about the number of deaths at Rikers Island. And look, I've covered Rikers a long time. It is not an easy job that you have with the task at hand, but you certainly inherited a troubled facility. 19 deaths in 2022. So far, 8 deaths have been reported this year. But then there was this whole move to stop the reporting of deaths to the public, to the media. Don't you think they have a right to know what exactly is going on in the facility?
So that is untrue. Right, we are very transparent. We actually been significantly transparent under this administration and prior. Right, we have dashboards that provide our violence indicators, as well as a number of other metrics. As it relates to death reporting, we report deaths to a number of bodies: the Federal Monitor, the Board of Corrections, the State Attorney General's office, the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, district attorneys, the family members.
What about lawmakers like the City Council?
So I don't know if we officially reported to city council members, but if a city council member asked, we would obviously confirm. And what we stopped doing was sending out press releases as it relates to death in respect of the family members who are losing a loved ones. Have had loved ones that have been incarcerated, and I would not want to find out in a public media broadcast or in a press release that my loved one had passed away. But of course, if any reporter called to say we've heard that somebody passed away, we would, of course, confirm that, but just ask that they give us time to notify the family members of the person passing away.
Yeah. I think we should point out, though, that you have been receiving credit for making improvements at Rikers.
Well, thank you.
Can you talk about what changes have been made?
Yeah, so I think the biggest changes has been not only with our violence decreasing, or slashing and stabbings down, it's at 21% in fiscal year 23. We continue to see calendar year to date an over 20% decline in slashing and stabbings. Our use of force incidents in our first year, despite the population rising, we experienced a 14% decrease in use of force incidents. Calendar year to date, we're still decreasing that number, and we're at about 4% calendar year to date. Significant reduction in staff absenteeism, over 70% reduction in staff absenteeism. Our programming, we have intramural sports, we have art therapy, music therapy. We've increased the number of faith-based and community leader volunteers that want to come into the facilities. So we've done a lot to stabilize the system and improve people's outcomes.
Yeah, and actually you've also made some positive changes in the physical infrastructure of the island, which was deteriorating. But I know we're out of time. I want to ask you real quick, what exactly budget cuts would look like for every agency, given that 5% number to cut? What does that look like for DOC?
So we're evaluating that now. We've, as you said, made a number of improvements to help increase our capacity on the island. And our team is looking over what that peg will look like for us, and we'll be prepared to make a recommendation to the mayor soon.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time as always, yeah.